Good morning. This is the regularly scheduled Executive Committee meeting. The date is December 10th, 2019. My name is Jacob Fry. I'm the chair of this committee, and we've been joined by a quorum of council members, including Council President Bender, Council Vice President Jenkins, and Council Member Andrew Johnson. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum. We have two items on the agenda for today. The first is the reappointment of the Director of CPED, and the second is the interim designation, or the extension of the interim designation for the City Coordinator. I will go ahead and move the first item, which is the considering my nomination to reappoint David Frank to the appointed position of CPED for a 2-year term beginning January 2nd, 2020. Is there any discussion on this motion? Yes, Council Member Andrew Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate your reappointment of David Frank. I just want to thank David for always being so knowledgeable on the issues, great at follow-up, and working to advance the many priorities that we put on the department. I know that there's a lot of competing priorities, and I have really enjoyed working with you over the years on advancing issues across the city. And I look forward to, as well, seeing how your vision continues to shape this department. I think there's opportunities that we've talked about, and certainly it's a critically important and vital role in this city. So just want to commend you, though, especially for the level of accessibility and responsiveness on issues. Thanks.
Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I plan to support forwarding this nomination through the City Council. As President, my intention is to refer this issue to the Committee of the Whole. For that committee to set the public hearing, this director reports to 3 separate committees. And so rather than having a complicated meeting scheduled at a special time, I plan to send this to the Committee of the Whole, knowing that Council Vice President will do a great job of hosting that committee and allow any of the 3 chairs to participate as they'd like, so that we can have the public hearing at a set time during our regular council schedule. I do want to say that the CPED department is working on some of the most critical issues of our city, and really touching the core issues of race equity so deeply. And I hope that going forward, this department can grow and evolve in really embracing that charge more fully. I hope we see more leadership and innovation coming from the department as a whole. I think right now the department is lagging behind where policymakers want to see this work happen, and particularly in the place of uplifting the folks who are most vulnerable in our communities, bringing forward and enthusiastically supporting ideas like worker protections, like renter protections, like investing in innovative ideas to support those who are most in need of our help with housing stability, with economic empowerment, and again, really centering race equity, because so many of our disparities really start there. And over the past years, I've seen a bit of resistance within the department to some of those changes. It's been challenging to get staff to support ideas that have come from council, much less come forward with ideas coming from that staff level. And I think it is slowing our progress. So my hope is that whoever is the director of this department, if Mr. Frank is supported by the council, that we will see more of that leadership and innovation throughout the department. I think that always starts with the director. I know Mr. Frank is a very skilled leader, does a lot to support the staff within the department. So I'm open-minded, but I do have some concerns about what we've seen over the last several years in this department as it pertains to race equity and economic equity. So I look forward to continuing the discussion, having a robust discussion, I expect, at the public hearing and beyond. Thanks.
Council Vice President.
Thank you, Mayor Fry. And I too want to thank you for bringing this nomination forward, and I certainly plan to support moving this forward today, as well as chairing the Committee of the Whole for the public hearing, so that we can hear from the various committee chairs and the public about how we would like to see the community planning and economic development function move forward. I too want to echo the council president's concerns that, and I've spoken to Mr. Frank about this publicly and privately, that I want to see more creativity, more support for small business, which is really, I think, lagging in our city. We certainly are able to provide the necessary supports and innovation for some of the larger projects and developments in our community, but I want to see that same level of support and creativity with our smaller entities and communities of color. So looking forward to the public hearing.
I very much support David Frank, obviously, in this nomination, and I do think that he's gotten some tremendous results coming out of many of the leaders within his department, and he's made room for those leaders to thrive and do some really incredible work. I think that's helped a whole lot. So thank you. I've made that motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no, and that item passes. The second is the interim designation city coordinator, extending the interim designation of Mark Ruff as city coordinator beginning December 20th, 2019 for a period not to exceed 90 days. I'll go ahead and move that item forward. And is there any discussion on that motion? Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to mention that I think, Mark, you're doing a great job in this role, and I'm glad to see you continuing in this role for the time being, and hope you would consider this role as well being permanent.
Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just also want to echo my thanks to Mr. Ruff for being willing to step into this role and for all the work that you're doing to both guide the budget and really provide support to the finance staff during a very busy time, and also stepping into this role and handling all the complex things that come to the city coordinator's office. I've appreciated your work very much.
I'll echo the same exact sentiment. It's not an easy position, and I think you've handled it very well, and I think clearly everyone trusts you. So I've made that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. When that item passes, I'll note that we've been joined by Councilmember Gordon. We have no further items on the agenda for today. I do not believe we have a closed session today. All right, and so thank you very much. We are adjourned.